I believe after recording. All right. So you typically find mining as your number 5, 6, or 7. Number 5, 6, or 7. Mining is a constant. So if you know mining, you should be certain of a 15 marks question actually that will likely come up. So, like I said, there are many things in that note that you don't need to bother about. If I were you, not an advice actually, but if I were you, what I would focus on is 1, tax incentives for mining business. And that's what I'm teaching you actually. Excuse me. And 2, the computation. Now, for the computation, you don't need to worry at all if you know CIT. Do you understand? So once you know CIT, you don't need to worry at all because it follows CIT provisions. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So those are the 2 major things. So let's start with the first. Right. Is meaning this class. He said, have you joined the call? Somebody went to last month's class and went to bring the link. Yeah, hello. Is the link for today's class that you people should join? Oh, do you understand?
So we are here already.
Oh, okay, I shouldn't tell you. I should tell others that are not here. All right. So if you want to tell them that no, they should not use that link, they should use the most recent link. Yeah. So let's get into that. So the mining incentives, the incentive for mining business. So let's look at it. I will just give like 6 because a typical examiner will ask you to mention 5, right? If they say 10 marks, you have to mention 5. That's 2 per mark. So let's look at the incentives together. We're good.
Yes, sir.
Number 1 is there is tax holiday for 3 years and renewable for 2 years. At least one of you will tell me what this holiday looks like. Yeah? Yeah, pioneer. So invariably, it means that a pioneer rule still suffices for mining. Do you understand? So for the fact that you understand pioneer, you have 110 like that for that. Do you understand? Number 2 is exporters. Are you with me? Are
Yes, sir.
permitted to retain profits let me do it. Part of its earnings, let me use it this way, in a foreign domiciliary account and interest on such savings are exempted from tax. Number 3, dividend declared during the pioneer period provided it is out of profits is exempted from tax. That's withholding tax. Let me write it in full. That's it. Right. Sorry, hold on a minute. Hello. Yeah, sorry, I'm in the class. I'll call you back. Give me 5 minutes. Or say in 1 hour time, I'll call you back. I'm in the class. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Is yours?
Good. Good. Sorry about that. So, where are we?
Number 4.
Looking off. So there is accelerated capital allowance.
Sorry, sir. Part of the screen is actually not showing. I don't know if you can do something about it.
Yeah, I should. Accelerated capital allowance in the first year of purchase of qualifying mining expenditure. Right. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Grant of personal remittance. Grant of personal remittance quarter for expatriate personnel. Free from tax. All right. And maybe we should add that there is exemption from custom duty on assets, on plants and equipment. Plants and equipment purchased, that's imported obviously, for the purpose of exploration. That's it. So you can make do with this 6, right? Now, if that's the case, let's now go to the completion part, the interesting part of this discussion. The interesting part here, right, is the fact that you would have one. We good? Number one is you have to note this particularly. There's something called qualifying mining expenditure. Although the examiner will give you this at the back of your question paper, but you have to know how it works. So qualifying mining expenditure, initial allowance is 95%, and annual allowance is how many percent? 0%. That's why we say there is accelerated capital allowance, right? For the allowable expenses, are we good? For the allowable expenses, the rent principle applies. Let me just say CIT provisions apply. You understand? As allowable, but let me just use adjusted profit, so that will make a lot of sense. CIT provisions applies. Now, if that's the case, let's then go ahead with some illustrations. The illustration will make it make a bit of sense.
Sir, please, can you explain number 4?
So number 4, that's accelerated capital allowance, right? So we are saying that you know that the higher your capital allowance, right? The higher the capital allowance, the lower the profit, right? And the lower the profit, the lower the tax liability. Do you understand? So that means is that we need both the capital allowance to be increased for us to manage our tax. So therefore, it means that once we now have an avenue for us to increase, then it makes it easier for us to reduce. Do you understand?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that again.
I said yes, sir.
It's
All
not
right,
still
good.
clear, but
So don't worry, you understand it when you understand it when I start computing, because it will make sense when I start computing. That's later capital allowance. It will make sense because obviously the maximum initial allowance is 50%. But these guys have an exceptional provision of say, I don't know, it in the kitchen, of say um what's the word now, of 95%, right? And you remember that they are the capital allowance, the lower the total profit, because there's no restriction on capital allowance for this guy. Do you understand? So there's no restriction on capital allowance for mining business. What that means, therefore, is that since they are going to be having 95% initial allowance, the initial allowance will be exaggerated that way. And once the initial allowance is exaggerated, what happens next is that the profit will shrink. And once profit shrinks, it means the liability will reduce. Do you understand how it becomes an incentive that way?
yes.
All right, good. So that said, let's quickly look at some illustrations. Sorry, let me see. So let's see how that goes. Let me do one.
So how the incentive examinable?
Yeah, the incentive is the most examined part of. So what the examiner can tell you to do is just to mention 4 incentives. Obviously, you see it. You will see it as we journey along, right? So, like for instance, now this diet now, what they ask us to do, I think this is this mining, if it's examinable, is that they ask you the computation or they ask you the incentive basically. All right, so let's look at this. For instance, they told us mining business. So you may want to read it. I'm not answering it though, but better still, you can just read it on your own right later. But this is purely theoretical, and you would find mining there as 6 marks. And like I used to say, I don't know if I've said it before. The difference between 49 and 50 is 6 months, Abby. Is that correct?
6 months with hard work.
Hard labor, actually. 6 months was hard labor.
Pẹ̀lú iṣẹ́ àṣekára.
Yes, you get it. So let's quickly work on this together. We used to send YouTube link for you guys. And this guy is just new here. Please who's reading for me. Oh.
So is it question 7, Abi?
Yeah. Question 7, yeah.
Okay. Udi Nigeria Limited is a mining company which was established 10 years ago. The company makes up its accounts to December 31st of every year. The managing director, who is an engineer, while having a chat with its former employee, while having a chat with his former colleagues in the university during the week, heard for the first time the concept of tax neutrality. He wondered how tax could be neutral. On getting to the office the following week, he requested for further information on the tax neutralities from the accountant, but based on his personal opinion, the accountant's response was not convincing enough. The company is in the process of filing its annual returns for the year ended December 31st, 2021. The tax authorities, the managing director, has directed the financial accountant to forward the following report to you, being the company tax consultant, in respect of the company's operational activities for the year. All figures are assumed to be correct. The, the following additional information was given: repairs and maintenance, capital allowance. Then we are required, as the company tax consultant, you are to prepare a report to the managing director of Udi Nigeria Limited, which will aim show the tax liabilities payable by the company for the relevant assessment year, in line with the provisions of Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act 2007 as amended. B. Explain the concept of tax neutralities and its application to specific policy issues.
Okay. Okay. So let's start with the first one. So don't forget where we started from. We said that CIT provisions apply, right? So everything we are doing is still in relation to CIT. So I need you to pay a bit of attention here, so that we will move on with it. But is it that you guys like YouTube that you won't be able to interact, or I don't understand why people still request for YouTube link?
Okay, so I think what the issue is for other classes, they once it's up to 100, you have to go and join YouTube. So people assume that tax class is also that way. So please don't blame them so much.
No, for my class, no, it's 500 though.
And okay, I think because of rewatching, for us to go and rewatch sometimes, it's
Yeah, so
that
it will be uploaded, obviously, it will be uploaded, although the upload is not as spontaneous as your live classes would have been. But I just do not, I personally, I do not like, because me, I've been enjoying more interactive classes. So most of the time when I was still doing YouTube class, like streaming on YouTube, I find it a bit difficult because I have to be with my phone to still coordinate activities on YouTube. So I still read comments on YouTube, and that distracts me a bit. That's why I looked for a way to ensure that everybody is on Google Meet. So if you send a message, I should be able to see it. If you have any issue, I should be able to address them spontaneously. That's why I prefer everybody on Google Meet. Do you understand? I understand the fact that uploading it will take a bit of time, but obviously in 24, 48 hours on a normal ground, you should get it uploaded. Apart from when you have when we have negative home support.
We all actually prefer this. It's just that the other ones we don't have a choice.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So maybe you should maybe you should tell them that maybe somebody on this course should tell them that no need for YouTube link, that they should all until I get 500. I don't think YouTube link will be necessary.
I don't think we have access to that group.
No, you can
Can't
send
I?
message in groups.
Okay, I'll check.
Yeah.
So they are just asking to watch later.
Okay, that's fine, no problem. So for 2022 you have assessment, right? But what my belief basically is, if you are not able to attend class, watching it, my heart gone. What do you think?
Yes, so
Because I'm a student, any class where I not join in real life, watching it is going to be like film trick. I no go lie give you. It takes extra discipline. So what's
There's
net
no
profit?
time.
Ah. Okay, let's go ahead.
5810.
58 was add disallowable expenses. And this is where it's going to get interesting. There's a bit the examiner use here that's, I mean, in mining businesses that you have to be wary of. Okay. So now for mining business, or generally, there's one word that the examiner would typically use, right? And the word is expenditure. Typically, we use expenditure in tax to denote capital items. Do you understand? So you see us use the word expenditure to denote capital items. So anytime you see expenditure, it means in reality, it is a capital intensive item. Does it make sense? It is a capital intensive item in itself. Do you understand? Having said that, so let's go ahead. Salaries and wages is allowed except the examiner tells us otherwise. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Depreciation of mining. What do you have? Equipment. How much is that?
15400.
15. The next one, transport and traveling is allowed except you have anything otherwise. Repairs and maintenance is allowed except otherwise stated. Allowance for bad debts, you should check the additional information. If the examiner is silent, is disallowed. Electricity and other utilities is allowed. Legal and professional fees is allowed. Certified exploration expenditure is capital in nature. Because of what?
It's a capital intensive item.
Expenditure.
Good. You get where I'm coming from. And you will see where that expansion will become relevant in its broad sense shortly. Right? Admin expenses is allowed, except you have anything that says otherwise in the additional information. Development and processing expenditure is capital.
Allowed.
Yeah, good. It's capital. How much is that?
2500.
All right. So maintenance expenses is allowed, right? Now, the examiner said the repairs and maintenance included an amount of
Sorry, sir.
1,500. Yeah.
So we didn't go through the notes. So I don't know if in the notes we have samples of disallowable expenses on that mining because we didn't talk around it. So I don't know.
So, like I
Okay.
said, the provisions of CIT still applies. So, what is disallowable under common income tax is automatically disallowable under mining. And what is allowable under common income tax is allowable under mining. The only difference between these and common income tax is your expenditure. That's your qualifying mining expenditure, which all other businesses will not have. Do you understand?
Okay. Thank you.
Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good. So repairs and maintenance included an amount of 1,500 being cost of fittings, right? Obviously, you know fittings is capital in nature, and so it is disallowed, Abby.
Yes, sir.
What's that? 1,500. Right. So they didn't tell us anything about allowance for bad debt, so it is disallowable, Abby. Whether the examiner is silent, the allowance for bad debt is what? Because you will assume it is a general provision. Another thing, I think I'm done. Figure me, please.
30,100.
I trust you. Is that no Barakat?
Yeah, I'm the one.
Hope you not break my heart today.
Hope what?
You not break my heart today. Right. Adjusted profits. Help me the numbers.
Ha! Are you serious?
20,710.
After adding, you still you should have 80 something now.
80,910. 80,910.
Ah, you want to cook beans for me? No. Less loss relief, Abby. Do you have any loss relief? Zero, Abby.
Yeah, 0.
So I still have less capital allowance. And there's a bait here that you have to be careful. Can somebody point out the bait for me?
This one is excluding current year capital expenditure.
Good. So what the examiner meant there is please compute your capital allowance. That's what that statement means. So what are the assets that we have for this year? Now with disallowed certified exploration expenditure, right? Which is actually a mining expenditure. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then we have what other one? Development
Development and processing.
and processing, which is also a qualifying mining expenditure. Then we have what other assets? I think we have fittings.
It is.
Better put, let's call it the full name because they're within the same class. All right, furniture. So in the exam, don't say that it's fitting. It's furniture and fittings you see in the back, but it's fitting. They wrote in the exam they are the same class. Do you get? So I have my initial allowance. And I have my what? Annual allowance. Right. Given what we've discussed, this should be 95%, 95%, and 25%. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
0%, 0%, and 20%. This is it, yeah. So this is it here. You will then notice that you now have all figures denoted in thousand.
Sir, please, where did you get the furniture and fittings? Is it the
Note
question?
one. Note one, yes, is in the question.
Okay.
Yeah. So the cost. So what's the cost of certified exploration expenditure? 4,500. Abi?
Yes, sir.
Development and processing is 2,500. Furniture and fittings how much?
1 5.
1,000.
Initial allowance will be how much?
4275.
2,375 for processing.
2,000?
2375.
375.
375.
Total. Help me with the numbers.
7025.
7025.
Annual allowance. Here
Sorry,
will be
sir.
zero.
These
Zero.
figures were put into cost. I don't know. We're not seeing it on the screen. I don't know if you can put it on.
Can anybody see it?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
that's 225. F and F.
Please, if you want to log out and log in again. I
No, what
remember
I
there's
mean
this.
is where are we taking? I'm seeing your screen. This 4-5. Where in the question is it? Oh,
Okay, remember that the assets that you disallow on the ground that they're capital in nature, you have to compute their allowances. So the ground for disallowing certified exploration expenditure 4-5 was that it is capital in nature. So it's expedient that we should compute capital allowance on that value. Do you understand?
yes.
And this 2-5, this is it, yeah. It will be
Sir,
good to
please take
compute.
few questions from the comment section.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is why 95%?
That's the rule, right? On any mining asset that you buy, the initial allowance is 95%.
All right. Then the second question, please, I'm lost. The lecturer, please, did he said what did he say about and what should we know it means to compute capital allowance? I don't know what it is.
So I said, just remember your provisions of common income tax, right? The allowable
Go
and
ahead.
disallowable expenses there. That's what you really need to know to compute this. So it still follows your common income tax provisions largely. I know if I would want to make it complex, what I would have done is to start from beginning again, CIT, but again, that is a bit more complex. So CIT provisions still apply ultimately. Do you understand? That's the major thing you need to know. And pioneer provision applies. So mining can be set in form of pioneer. Just know that pioneer provision will apply in the case where it is applying, where it's applied. And obviously, everybody who has been following us will know that for our pioneer, the first 3 years, there's tax holiday for 3 years, renewable for 2 years, right? And obviously, post that pioneer period, commencement will apply. So everything you do under pioneer will still be applicable in case the examiner structures the question in such a way that it looks like pioneer business. Do you understand?
All right, sir. Next question. He said, where did you get furnitures and fittings, sir? I think that one is additional
Note
information.
Note 1. Additional information
The
1. Repairs and maintenance
Okay.
include amount of 1.5.
The next question, how was the annual allowance calculated?
Yeah, cost minus the initial allowance times annual allowance rate. But anything multiplied by 0 is equal to 0.
Then final question, please, can we know the list of qualifying capital expenditure?
So the list is constant, but to save you of the whole stress, at the back of the question paper, you always have the list there. So it's not something that you should cram. Do you understand? You will see it here,
All right, sir.
building expenditure, content, industrial building. So you always have it there. It's not something you should cram.
All right. Go ahead. In the next question, we'll take it after some minutes.
Good, thank you. Silas for president.
Sir, but you can tell us to come and eat, so we'll not be angry.
Okay, come and eat.
See,
After you've caught me, don't worry. Well, come and eat, oh. Everybody come and eat. It's some. Thank you. I actually needed that food to sustain my energy because I'll be talking till around 10. Sorry, not to
Wait,
distract myself.
this class is
Class.
to 10. Okay.
No, not this class. I'm ending this class by 8, but I'm jumping on another session. I have an engagement for it to 10. All right, please go ahead. Please help me.
Oh,
Hey, Joe now.
900.
Okay.
7 to
Next one.
15.
7. So you have 7. 50, right? So what's now my total profit? How much is total profit?
73,660.
73.
660.
Like this.
Yo.
Society at 30%. What do you have?
So there is a capital allowance given, brought forward at
Hey!
current year.
Thank you. So that quickly, capital allowance brought forward. How much is that?
750.
750. Then capital allowance for the year.
8,000.
So it now be 8,000. No, 12,2 plus 750. What do you have?
Are we also using the 12,200?
Yes, you use the two. You add both of them together.
I
But
thought
you were saying
so far we
something.
already calculated exactly. So far we already calculated
No.
our own.
So these are
This
additional
one is
assets.
new assets.
Assets only.
Okay.
Do you understand? This is not their total assets. The one we compute now is for the asset purchased this year.
Okay.
So the ones you have, the current year capital allowance is on assets that were not purchased in that year. Do you understand?
Yes.
So let's go ahead. 12,2 plus 750.
Plus
19.
950.
It will be 19 now.
Yeah,
19.
19.
So what do you have when you add the two together?
2,200.
So for the first year, certified exploration whatever is 225.
Say that again.
Certified exploration expenditure. No, your TWDV.
Yes. Okay, it's 225.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we have
And the
2,000.
second one is 125.
So who gave me all these numbers?
You wrote it yourself.
Exactly.
So you gave me the correct thing. I was only just
Before you
writing.
lie on my head now.
No, nobody gave you. You were just writing.
So why are you being defensive now, real love?
No. So that you're not gonna say it's somebody that give you poison. You are the one that generally want to use poison yourself.
So what's total profit now?
60,710.
710. Good. So what's CIT at 30%? Thank you for that. Mm.
Eighteen to 13.
Hmm?
18 to 13.
18,213. And TET at 2.5%. Abi? What do you have? Obviously, is of your adjusted profit.
Yes, sir.
How much is that?
2023.
So our comment section is very hot, chai. We did a
I'm
mistake
telling you, I just wait for him.
we did a mistake So it's 2290 that is our total capital allowance, not 2200.
So who's giving me this figure? Hope it's not me that wrote this one myself. Who gave me the figure? They will soon tell some of you to resign, honestly. All right, so what's the new value?
6,620.
If you cannot coffee go, resign. Simple. So what's the value here? Help me.
18. 186.
18,213.
2.
Capital allowance is supposed to be 20,000.
No what?
Is 18186 now.
Please,
It has not gotten to where the owner of the drug will now use it. Abi?
Yes, sir. Times 0.3.
18186. Silas, have you eaten?
I'm not. I'm just coming
So please
back.
confirm capital
sir,
allowance
please, I
total
have
figure.
a question. This capital allowance for the year,
Yes.
I thought it's supposed to be 12,200 plus the one that we got from our computation.
Yes.
So please, can you scroll up? Like the
Just
computation
200
of
plus
capital allowance.
150.
We had 7,250.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 19,450.
Yes.
It's
What
19,450.
of
It's not
the brought forward
19,550
from
now.
the previous year?
So it's 2,200.
Okay. I won't be putting class at 6 p.m. again. Maybe I need to give you time to go and eat.
Exactly.
Minus 8910. That's 6710. Right?
Yes, sir.
Then times 0.3. 18213.
18,213.
Right. Then 0.025 times
2023.
8910. That's 2022.75. So let's add that together. Plus 18213, right? I have 20. Is this correct?
Yes, sir.
2235. Any question?
Please, sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
In mining,
Yeah.
can there be restriction on capital allowance? Like in
No,
case,
no, no, no.
okay, no
No.
restriction.
Yeah, because it's more or less like your typical pioneer businesses. So
Okay,
it's a
sorry.
special
Okay,
business.
pioneer businesses too do not
Most of the
restrict
time, not
capital allowance.
generally, but most of the time, they're always around manufacturing and exploration. So, typically your manufacturing businesses are exempted.
Yes, manufacturing and agro-allied.
Yeah, so most of these guys around that space will be manufacturing. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, sir. So let's take a few questions here before we go ahead. So if you have questions, just raise your hand. I will attend to you. So for sake of time, I'm just going to take the first 4 people. pressed 4. All right, so Olumide, Bukola, Sunday.
All right, Sunday. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sunday. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. I'm enjoying this your class. Please,
You're
I need
welcome.
a little clarity. Maybe I was distracted. In the computation of the capital allowance, I saw the annual allowance zero. So please, I need clarity on that, please.
It's because your annual allowance is typically 0%, right? So once your annual allowance is 0%, anything multiplied by 0 will be equal to 0. Annual allowance on qualifying minor expenditure is 0%. 0 times the value will be equal to 0. That's why it's like that.
No, sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't get that. Okay, capital allowance on.
In annual allowance on mining expenditure is 0%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Um,
Olumide Bukola.
okay. Olumide speaking. Yeah, I am a little confused about the repair and maintenance. Is it the same value, the same figure, 1.5 for repair and maintenance, and that's also being used for furniture and fitting? Can you throw more light into that?
Sorry, I mean it was not very clear from my end.
Okay, look, like I said on that additional information, repair
Yeah.
and maintenance an amount of 1,500, 1,000 being cost of
Yes.
15 in 12. So I
Yeah.
wanted to clarify. It is the same figure for repair and maintenance and also the same 1.5 for furniture and fitting.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Olayemi. No, is it Olayemi? No, it's Bisola. Bisola.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Sorry.
Good evening, ma'am.
I just wanted to confirm because it's the same, almost the same rule with Pioneer. So is it after their application has expired, then we now start the
Oniago.
yes, just like Pioneer rule. After their, if
Yeah.
they don't extend when it's expired, then we now start to the tax. So is it the same thing
Yeah.
with mining?
Yes, it's the same thing, but it's the same thing in reality. But you have to be careful. Not all businesses will follow that pattern. So if the business is already an ongoing business, you don't need to bother again.
Bother in what sense?
So you don't need to bother about whether you are following commencement rule in the postponement period.
Oh, okay. Okay, I understand
So
now.
like this question, for instance, is an ongoing business already. So
Mm-hmm.
because it's an ongoing business, I don't need to bother about did he apply, because obviously bygone is bygone.
Okay, so it just continued after. Okay, I understand. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
good.
So I have
You're
a
welcome.
question
So
on
let me
on
take
that.
one more. Okay, let's take
So I have
comments and
question.
then
Sir, please can you go
yeah.
back to the solution?
So go ahead. What's the question?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I just missed out something.
I thought you were going to take a long time to talk, sharp. I've put something heavy, but no
Sir, do
problem.
you hear me?
Yeah, Silas, please go ahead.
All right. The first question, the annual allowance for furniture and fitting, please check it again. That is the first. I don't know if it's not correct.
So let's
Should
try
I
it
continue?
together. We don't know.
Okay.
1.5 minus 375 times 0.2 is correct.
All right. The next one, please. How did we get the 19,450 of capital allowance?
So that's the capital allowance. That's the current year capital allowance, and the capital allowance that we computed. So
All right. The 12,200
let
from
me,
the
hold on.
question. Okay.
Let me show.
Hello?
Hold on a minute. Let me show something.
All right, sir.
So current here. You have 1200 and additional capital allowance. How much is that? About zero. So you have how much?
It's
Any question?
750, not 75250. No, from the other question.
It's correct. It's correct.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Okay, the next question. Why is F and F, that's furniture and fitting maintenance, disallowed?
Because it's capital in nature.
All right. And then from Esther Sunday, she said that please, I want to ask my question. I cannot express it in typing. Please give her the opportunity.
No, she should know the rule is very simple now. Keep it once it drops in your heart like this,
Okay,
just
it's
put
like
hand in it.
still our standing people raising hand.
Yeah. So just raise your hand. Once it drops like that, just raise your hand so that you'll be among the first set of people that will call. All right. So let's go ahead to the next cycle, and that will be all for today. So my next question after tonight, or my next class after tonight. Eh? I hate this sound though. My next question after today will then be next class, right? That's on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Thursday, hopefully 6 to 8. But if I'm able to steal your PSAF time, your CR time, then it's going to be 6 to 11.
So,
Sir, if we do 6 to 11, we are not doing Friday.
Who should be complaining? Is it me or you?
No, I'm asking question.
sir, please, I think you need to explain more regarding to this the repairs and maintenance, including amount of 1,000, 1,500,000 being cost of fittings
Yes, so
included in. Explain more. I
I've
think some of
explained
them
that
are clear.
fittings is an asset. And we've said anything that is capital in nature should be disallowed, right? So that's
Yes, sir.
the explanation that's the explanation around it. Except if you have a particular question that you're having, well, that's the best way I can explain it. But if you have any question you want have that may guide me towards explaining it better, then I'll be more than willing to answer you.
All right.
Do you understand?
They say, okay, why is there no restriction on capital allowance? The last question, they can move ahead.
Yeah, so because the business is exploration businesses are not restricted. All right.
All right, sir. The remaining question will be taken later.
Good. So who's reading?
As investors, can I read or should I continue?
Please go ahead.
As investors and policymakers adapt to the global energy transition in a bid to offer an effective edge against swings in oil prices, the federal government has recognized that it is beneficial for the country to diversify its economy. The attention of the country is now towards the development of the solid mineral sector. The Nigeria Mineral and Mining Act 2007, as amended, was enacted to regulate the industry. Incentives for operators in the sector are as provided for in Section 5 of the Act. One of the earliest investors in the mining sector, Dulce Mines Nigeria Limited, was granted a mining title by the Mining Cadastral Office (MCO) for exploitation of limestone in Nalaju in the southeastern zone of Nigeria in 2008. In spite of so many challenges the company is facing, it has managed to remain afloat in business. The company has, of recent, been having tax disputes with the relevant tax authority, and your firm of chartered accountants has been engaged to help resolve them. In the 2002 returns filed by the company, the major area of dispute between the company and the tax authority was disparity in the treatment of certified exploration and processing expenditure of 60 million naira incurred during the course of the year. Your firm is provided with the following extract and supporting documents from the books of the company for the year ended December 31st, 2021. All figures are assumed to be correct. So can you scroll up? The following additional information was provided. Hi, the figure for sundry income included an amount of 8.5 million naira realized as profits from disposal of the old excavating machine. II. Allowance for doubtful debts were made up of bad debt written off 2.5 million, general allowance for doubtful debt 10.5 million, specific allowance for doubtful debt 8 million, loan to customer written off 5 million. II. Included in donation was 5 million naira given to victims of environmental degradation as part of the company's social responsibility to the host community. IV. Legal fees included an amount of 750,000 naira, which was paid as penalty for late filing of tax returns. V. The tax written down values of qualifying capital expenditure at the end of 2021 tax year revealed that motor vehicle 2 years remaining 25 million naira, furnitures and fitting utilized for 2 years 22.5 million naira, mining expenditures 6 million naira, 6 years remaining 40 million naira required. As the manager, tax matters assigned to handle this matter, you are to forward the report to your senior partner, tax matters showing A. Computation of tax liabilities of the company for the relevant assessment year. B. Comment on tax incentive available to a company in mining of solid mineral in Nigeria.
All right. So there are two ways you can answer this question. The first one is the simplest and the most straightforward. To say, I am not a manager. I am a child of God. I'm not reporting to a senior partner. I cannot lie. Right? If you do that, you have your full mark because one, you've portrayed accuracy. Number two, you've portrayed integrity. All right. So you can go that route and you'll be fine. Do you understand? Do you get it? That's the best, or that's the fastest way to have your 14 marks for this question. But in case you're the type that like work like myself, so you will do this one, computation, but this one is harder. Computation of tax liabilities, Abby. For what's your assessment? I'm not going to talk to the first one.
2022.
2022.
Okay.
I have integrity.
Okay. You have integrity, Abby. Actually, you should have, because that's our motto. And we shouldn't be preaching something and be doing otherwise now. Or what do you think? So, ladies and gentlemen, what's the next profit?
752,270.
752,270. Add disallowed expenses. How much is disallowed expenses? So we have excavating expenses is allowed. Salaries and wages is allowed. Director's remuneration is what? Allowed, right? Electricity and telephone is allowed. Food and traveling is allowed. Allowance for doubtful debt, we have to check the additional information. Auditor and professional fees is allowed. Donations is allowed. Repairs and maintenance is allowed. Depreciation is disallowed, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Depreciation.
70.
70,000, Abi. General and miscellaneous expenses 15 to legal expenses 12,000. Bank charges allowed. Exploration and processing expenditure is what? Allowed, Abi?
Disallowed.
Good.
Disallowed.
Because it is capital in nature, Abi.
Yes.
How much is that?
60,000.
The income tax provision is disallowed, right?
Yes.
Then education tax is also disallowed.
Sorry. Okay.
So figure of
But the name
country
of the other
income.
sister,
Please
not
mute your mics.
the one
Please
that
mute your
she
mic.
that
Less non-taxable income. What are non-taxable income that we have?
We have additional
The-
information.
That's what I'm picking. The figure of sundry income included an amount of 85 from sale of machine, Abi. So that's profit
Yes, sir. On
from
disposal
disposal. How
of
much is that?
8.5 million.
Then you have allowance for doubtful debts were made of bad debts written off allowed, right? General provisions is disallowed. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How much is that?
5.
10,500. Then specific is allowed, but loan to customers written off is disallowed, right? 5,000. Including donation was 5,000 given to victims of environmental degradation. That really validates the fact that it's allowable. So not big deal with that, right? It is allowed. Legal fees included an amount of 750, which was paid as penalty. So mine we have legal fee
Disallowed.
allowed, right?
It's allowed. Disallowed. Who had,
Right. Then the tax number value means I should compute my capital allowance, right?
yes,
Now
sir.
let's go ahead. Open with numbers.
Okay.
331 to 50.
33.
1250.
No, is it 5? What do you have?
$1,075,020 naira. 1,075,020.
Right. Do you have any loss relief?
No.
No, sir. Like this. Less capital allowance. Abi?
Yes, sir.
Let me quickly compute. Make up the relevance.
Sir, please take few questions before you start.
Okay. Right.
All right.
It's like a contesting for
Why
local
are
government
we
chairman.
disallowing?
Silas.
No, sir. Should I go
Right,
ahead?
right.
Okay. So why are we allowing donation? The same question repeated again.
Okay, the same question with your own.
No, two questions. Two person asked the questions the same time.
Okay, good. The reason is this. Donation on the face of it is allowable. It is when it does not meet the conditions that it becomes disallowed. So if the examiner is silent as to what is the nature of the donation, it is an allowable expenses. Now, the examiner said included in donation was 5,000 given to victims. This is allowable. We don't have an information regarding the balance, and that validates the fact that the balance too should be allowed. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
All right. The next question. Please, if the question says advise the company, at all time, are we computing and writing a report, or is
By
it
God's grace.
only
By God.
huh?
Always you compute and write. If you're advising, it means you should compute and then write. So you are going to write a report at all times.
All right.
Huh?
I think. Hold on, let me check the next question.
No.
Okay, somebody say please check the adjusted profit again.
Yeah.
So another person say, Jesus help us. So amen.
Amen. Okay.
My question is, can we get the solution before tomorrow?
Yes, you get it every time.
All right. This reporting is serious. That is the end for now.
Okay. And that's
Hope I did
your
not skip anything.
for a level. I'm very sure you cannot pass without writing a report. I'm careful with my choice of words, but I'm saying what I'm saying. Do you understand? I doubt if you scale this course without writing a report. All right. But I'm not God anyway. A miracle still happens. What God cannot
Sure.
do does not
Does not
exist.
exist.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sorry, you said in all our response to the questions, we should always write report, right? If the question
That's what I
specify
said
that.
though. I'm
I'm
saying
just,
once
I'm
they tell you
still.
to advise, they let you advise, act as a consultant. So that means you have to write a report in that case. Do you understand? I've answered your question.
Okay, so advice, act as a tax
But what?
consultant. We are writing.
Yeah.
But what about we are not a tax consultant? Based on what you just said, that I'm not a tax consultant. I've just been sincere and high level of integrity. What will you do?
And now you have your full mark now from the back. Hope nobody took my advice serious the first time I said it. I was only joking that time.
This kind of thing should not be joke about it too, because early information is we have to be very careful.
It's valid though. Everybody they find shortcuts.
Very, very valid. You write your report.
All they find shortcuts though.
Please. I was just joking. Oh, please write your report. Write it with correct punctuation and
We have known you with that joke. So
So, but in case you don't know me with the joke, so let's go ahead. Initial allowance, right? Annual allowance, is that correct? For motor vehicle, it is 50%, 25%, 95%, right? And here is 25%, 20, and 0%. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Sir, exploration and processing expenditure that we disallowed.
So it's
I don't
still
know, is
under
it supposed
mining
to be part?
expenditure. It's
Okay.
under mining expenditure. But if you want me to do it separately, you can also do it separately. But it's still under mining expenditure the same.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, please. I want to take you back. This it's about this donation.
So the reason why you were host was to ask your own question at any point you want. Abi is immunity that you want, but go ahead. Because I've not heard your voice in a while. Please go ahead. Go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yes,
You
I
have called
can.
somebody like
Ah, almost. Hello. Let's go ahead. I hope it comes back. But it was joke from my own end though. All right.
Oh, sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
Okay. You know, before we can allow donation, it must meet the criteria. Like it must be in the approved list and all of those things. But this one, they didn't specifically tell us that it is given to an approved body or it's 10% of this thing. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
those criteria. So we didn't even test
That was
it.
what I told you the criteria.
What did you say, sir?
So that was one that told you the criteria and you said you don't I know it. It's funny. Oh.
So what I mean is
No
that
worries,
like
no
we
worries.
didn't even make reference to it, and we didn't even test whether the 5 and is it the 9.5 now is more than the profit, more than 10%
It's
of
more
the
than
profit, all
10%
of
of the
those
profit. Makes
criteria.
sense. Okay. I mean that's a valid argument there. You've made sense, yeah. So now if you look at like I explained, if you remember there was one question when I was doing CIT, I said that though it must meet 10%, I mean it should not be more than 10%, right? In the case of but this net profit is 752 million.
Okay.
This guy just donated 9.5 million. It's not up to 2% of this value. So I don't need to test anything at all because I know my adjusted profit will definitely be higher than the net profit. So testing it is just a waste of time for me in the exam.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, I
Looking at
understand.
it, you already know that no, it will meet the rule, so you can just move on.
But one other thing is the
Yeah.
fact that it's not in the approved list. The donation is not made to an approved body.
So do we have
So I
any
don't know.
point to substantiate that is not made to the approved bodies?
But it
No.
says this is the company's CSR responsibility.
But don't take it if it's approved body though.
It's allowed.
So the examiner said yes, given to environmental degradation. Don't forget that the rule says it should be made to if any donation is made for the purpose of natural disaster, war, or crisis, it is allowable. Environmental degradation is a natural disaster now. Abi? That's
Yes,
allowable.
but I was even
So
looking at that donation should have come under allowable expenses of that 5
yes, it's an
million.
allowable expenses. So in reality, you know what we just do to allowable expenses to ignore it.
But sorry, if it's a gift to motherless baby, donation to motherless baby, is it disallowed or is not disallowed, please?
It depends on if the motherless baby is approved, though, but in reality should be allowed. Widows and motherless baby homes, depending on whether it is approved or not, is allowed.
Please, I want to confirm, is the testing of the profit, is it on adjusted profit or net profit? Should in case you want to test the donation. I forgot
It should be adjusted profit, but on most occasions, your adjusted profit will always be higher than the net profit.
So we are testing, should in case you want to test
we are testing against net profit.
Sorry, are we going to allow the whole donations? Since I
Yes.
thought okay, because I was only seeing 5 million that was given to the victims of environmental degradation. So that's why I'm asking if we are going to allow everything.
So again, the 4-5 remaining, there's nothing here to substantiate that it is made to unapproved bodies. So should we penalize them for not giving us the information? The answer is no. Do you understand?
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Yeah, so let's move on a bit though.
No, sir.
Wait, is it that I didn't mute everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wait, I was wondering.
Yes, sir.
I was going to help my co-host now. That are you the only one?
Sir, we are coordinated. No need to unmute us. We are coordinated.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we are coordinated.
Hey,
Thank
wait.
God that you unmuted everybody because you not allow me to ask my question for long.
So, you guys are tempting me, but let's move on a bit. So,
I
like the fact that you are coordinated, but let's move on a bit. Let's move on a bit so that we move on time. You get? I was just wondering now. I was only expecting Silas to speak. Please, so let's make noise, right? Right. So, motor vehicle is how much? 22,000. 25,000, Abby.
Yes, sir.
The furniture and fitting is how much? 22,500. Mine expenditure is 40,000, Abby.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any addition? Yes, we
Yes.
do. The
Exploration.
what's the name they called it? Exploration assets. How much is that?
60,000.
60,000, right?
Yes, sir.
So what's now the total value? Here with 25,000,
2,500,
2,500, and 100,000. All right. There you have initial allowance,
sir.
right? So was 95% of 60,000. What do you have?
57,000.
57,000. Then annual allowance, right?
Yes, sir.
So what's the annual allowance now? The examiner said 2 years remaining. Remember that when you have assets that is already exceeding the first year, all you just need to do is to divide by the remaining useful life, right?
Yes, sir.
So all you need to do is to do 25,000 divided by 2. What do you have? You have
I have
12,500.
12,500.
Now the examiner said your furniture and fitting it has used 2 years. Ideally it should use 5 years, but it has used 2 years. So how many years remaining?
3 years.
3 years.
So you do
3 years.
2,500 divided by 2. You have
7,500.
7,500.
So for this other one, obviously your old asset does not suffer initial allowance, annual allowance again, and your new asset will not also suffer initial allowance again, because the annual allowance is 0%. So 0% times any value is equal to 0, right?
Yes, sir.
So 12,500 plus 575, what do you have?
20,000.
What's tax non-value? Here should be 12,500, right? Here should be 15,000. And here should be 43. Please confirm. Oh. and there should be 77. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's correct.
Good. What's my total profit? You see, and now we still mute everybody. Say, you just mute everybody. So let's go ahead. What do you have? A total profit?
Nine
Who's
nine
helping
eight
me? Oh,
020.
eh?
998 020.
198.
020. Yes, sir.
So CIT at 30%. What do you have?
We have
299406.
And TET at 2.5%, right? Versus
yes,
zero
sir.
profit. What do you have?
Sorry, sir. This
Yes.
mining, this we're doing. I thought mining has its own, like they have their own tax that they charge aside to
No.
TI.
It's still company income tax. It's the oil and gas guys that has a special
26875.
tax.
Okay. So this mining is not the one under the oil and gas.
No. So
2687.
the
26875.5.
okay.
876.
That's 8.75, Abby.
26875.5.
Okay. So
0.5, yeah.
it's not the same with oil and gas. So there's a separate oil and gas that is assessed to tax under Petroleum Industry Act. And those ones are those with oil mining lease and petroleum prospecting license. Right. So it's different. They are eligible to tax under Petroleum Industry Act. But for these guys, they're only exploring and it's exploration of mineral resources, natural resources, beg your pardon. So not necessarily oil and gas related.
Sorry. So how do we differentiate between the two? Would they put like
Yeah, sure.
PIA?
They will tell you it's a mining business. So if it's mining business, then they will tell you it's an oil company. That's oil company is PIA, is a mining business is CIT. So this is what I'm saying. For instance, now I can see here, Duce Mines is one of the earliest investors in the mining sector. Let me show you a typical oil and gas question because I'm very sure you cannot miss it in your exam. Okay, this was the first year PIA was introduced, so everybody was confused. So they didn't test it this year. Let's go to the next year after. What's an emit? So sorry, I just needed to show you how to differentiate. So you would always you can see Petroleum Nigeria Limited is a foreign oil and gas company. They always separate it. So in a typical question, oil and gas, they will tell you the name of the company, the oil and gas, and the kind of license it holds. All right, don't worry. By Thursday, it will be clear. So what's total profit?
Okay, thank you.
326.
326
326 21 281.
281.5.
326 281 281.5. All right. Any question? Obviously, there will be a lot. So, Charles, do you want to take the comments first? Wait, is it Itelu on leave?
It is where I'm not on leave, sir. I believe which leave? Company leave, I be tax leave.
Hello, operational leave.
No, sir. Everybody has been saying it. That's why I mellow.
Okay, you don't want to be the talk of the town again. Sorry. It's not tax liability I wrote. Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes. I'm with you.
Alright. Let's take 3 questions.
Okay. So Josephine.
Should I go ahead?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Alright.
Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Sorry,
Okay.
I hear you. My network.
Okay. Okay, while we wait for Silas to reach, let's go ahead. Esther. Olusono. Messes. Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, sir, please. I was trying to ask a question on how we are going to know the qualifying capital expenditure for mining. I was not asking as regards the one they used to list for us at the back of the question paper.
Okay.
Aside
When
from
anytime the examiner mentions expenditure, then it becomes a qualifying asset.
expenditure.
Jonathan. Yeah. For instance,
Okay.
excavating expenditure or
Okay.
development and processing expenditure. So anytime it mentions expenditure, then it's referring to a qualifying asset.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am. Olusono, Mrs. Olawale, Juliet, Beatrice, Joseph.
Yes, sir. Be true, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
please
sir.
go ahead.
Sir, the remaining years of that mining from the question, the roots
Yeah.
and that's no allowance. They put it remain 3 years.
So
So
the annual allowance is equal to 0 every
oh,
time for a mining asset. So don't
okay,
mind the
sir.
examiner. That person is a woman that doesn't forgive easily. So just a
Okay,
bit.
okay, sir. Sir, that loss relief from the computation there. After taking, assuming that loss relief, there's a
Yeah.
figure there. That answer there is it accessible profit that we are going to put before the taking the capital allowance.
No, there is not. It doesn't have a name for CIT. It really does not
Oh,
have a name.
okay, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
this question that we are solving, which year, sir? Because I
Honestly, I can't. Let me check for it. No, I shouldn't have picked the question.
May 2022.
So May 2022 question 4, Abi?
Yes, sir.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. But the way
Okay,
I'm
sir.
even
Good
solving,
evening,
I've
sir.
solved almost all the
Who
past
is
questions.
Juliet?
I've almost solved
Hello,
everything
sir.
with you. Voila. That's great. So,
Hello,
yeah,
can I
Juliet.
go ahead?
Yeah, Juliet, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
So, sir, please, sorry, my question is relating to that capital allowance. So,
Yeah.
as the initial allowance is 95%, so the balance remaining of that asset cost, is it that it's going to be the scrap value, like at the point we are
Correct.
disposing the assets? Okay.
Correct. That's the tax's non-value. So, unlike
Okay.
other
So,
assets that
yeah.
typically have 10 naira,
Oh,
the
okay.
qualified mining asset does not have 10 naira. So the 5% automatically becomes the residual value till it is disposed.
Okay. I get. Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
you're welcome. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Please
Sir,
explain the one that
are you
you
hearing me,
just.
sir?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. I want to ask, sir, under examination condition, is it always advisable to start with the working first, particularly the capital allowance computation?
To be honest with you, it depends on what works for you, right? So people advise you to start with workings first, but do whatever you feel is more convenient for you, right? But on a general note, maybe I should even give a general exam advice. I typically advise students to run away from number one question first, right? Read through the 7 questions, pick the one you are most comfortable with and solve it first. Number one does not necessarily have to be your first question to be solved.
Yes.
Do you understand? So solve the one you are most comfortable with first to improve your confidence level and your level of retention and regurgitation. Do you understand?
Okay, sir.
So once you've done that first, in fact, do your number one last, because once you do it last, you have done 4 questions conveniently. If you pass 4 questions on the average and you're able to manage your time, you've already gotten like 40 over 70. So it means you need just 10 marks from your number one. But your number one is always tricky, that it is either too simple for you to attempt and you feel there's something wrong somewhere and you start reading again and again and again, or it's too hard for you to solve at a stretch. Is either one of the two. You have a way of setting it. But when you are picking the question, maybe you should do the workings first, but always structure your thoughts in a way that it will help you remember. And tax is very easy to pass, but at the same time, very silly mistake can be a turning point. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Any mistake, for instance, if you mistakenly put a wrong figure as depreciation, that simple mistake can make you lose up to 8 marks in some cases. Because if that's the case, adjusted profit will be wrong, the capital allowance restriction will be wrong, the total profit is wrong, the profit figure is wrong, I mean the tax figure will be wrong, the TAET figure will be wrong, total tax liability figure will be wrong. So you've seen a lot of wrong things because of one mistake. So you just have to be careful and pick your numbers and like that. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Please, sir, I see another question, sir.
Please go ahead.
Sir, please, I don't know if we can have a question that we don't start with net profit. Are there other explanatory where we can have another question where we will start with maybe less liable expenses and other items like that?
Yes, that will be under specialized business.
Okay.
Or some other way. So just wait. I think I should get there. And also your PIA is also like that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Have I answered the question?
Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Okay, Olawale.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Can you, thank you very much for your time. Please, I noticed that for that capital allowance you calculated, you didn't do initial allowance for motor van. I
They are
was
not new
wondering.
assets. They are
They are
not
not
new
new
assets.
assets.
Yes.
But for initial allowance, it's calculated for both.
It's not me that teach you that one. No.
And
Initial allowance.
New assets.
Initial allowance is only on new assets. So initial allowance is only on new assets. That's the one I know.
Okay, sir. All right. Okay, connected. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Juliet, Ruth, Joseph,
Hello, sir.
Happy Sami,
Hello, sir.
Dominica.
This is Ruth.
Good day, sir.
Ruth, yeah, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. This is Ruth speaking.
Yeah, please
Thanks
go
for
ahead, Ruth.
the lecture. Yes. So my concern is this furniture and fitting. Under CETA, it's normally allowed. That's repairs and maintenance is allowed. I don't know why under
Okay,
mining
repairs
is
and
disallowed.
maintenance. No, so it's not a mining thing. It's not a mining thing. It's a general thing. So
Okay.
repairs of furniture and fitting is allowed, but purchase of furniture and fitting is disallowed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So my second question, sir. I was going through the Pathfinder. I saw where they said wristwatches are not allowed during exam. So how do I time myself during examination condition?
There's one big man on the podium that will tell you about my watch.
Okay.
There's that man. That man is always there. That man
So
used to give
because
me.
I wondering, I said,
Yeah.
how do I time myself?
So the man
Because
says the man once it
this was
is.
the first time of writing I can, so I've not written it before.
Okay. There's always a man. That man, that man is always there. By my watch, it is 10:30 a.m. You are now 1 hour into the exam.
All
Ladies and
right.
gentlemen, you have 2 hours, 15 minutes more.
Okay.
That man is
Okay.
doing those days.
Okay, sir. Thank you so
Ladies
much.
and gentlemen, begin to tidy up your work.
There is also
Okay.
work. There is also work clock on the hall.
Sir.
Yes, there's
Okay.
that man.
Sir, can you hear me?
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Please, hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Hello?
so let's go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Joseph, if I've
Hello.
answered you,
Good
please
evening,
put
sir.
down your hand.
Oh, okay.
Joseph, please
When,
go ahead.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Sir.
Joseph, please go ahead.
My question is this: that I'm the one. I'm good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. This is Joseph speaking.
No, is it Joseph Irem?
Hello. Is it Joseph who? Because we have Joseph Akafa.
No, this is Akafa.
This is Joseph Akafa.
No, it's not Akafa that. It's not Akafa. It's Joseph Irem that should speak. Sorry.
diet from the. Can you hear me? Hello.
Say that again. Yes.
Hey.
Joseph, your network has disappointed you. It's not me. Dominica, Oluwatobiloba, Dapo, Michael, Josephine, Akafa.
Hello, I'm back. Hello.
Good evening,
Joseph
sir.
is back. Hello.
Yeah. Who's speaking now?
It's Joseph. Let me complete because my network is. I don't know.
Okay, please go ahead.
All right. So my question is on CIT. Are we still computing for initial allowances? And also, is there any changes on it?
No, there's no changes on initial allowance. Initial allowance is still applicable.
It's still applicable even in the new law. And
no, the new law is not examinable. I think I've addressed that fact that new law is not examinable this diet.
Okay.
Yeah. So new law is really examinable, will be examined next diet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dominica Oluwatobiloba, Josephine, Michael
Good
Oga.
evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. That Josephine, yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
I just want to ask the return of 10 naira after the expiration of the lifespan of the asset. Is it still applicable here?
For mining expenditure is no longer applicable. So all be retained will be the 10%, will be the 5% of the cost of the asset.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Who's speaking?
Tobiloba.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. What I want to know is, from the last question, the tax written down value for the previous assets, will it be added to the new asset before you can charge the 95%?
No, not necessarily. It's on the costs, on the cost of the new asset.
Okay, then you
It's only
now
on the
sum the remaining to the tax written value.
exactly.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Dominica, Silas,
Sir, good
Michael
evening.
Oga, Abdusemi.
Good evening, sir.
Sir,
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Silas, speak.
Sorry. Yeah, good evening, sir. Sorry,
Yes,
I
good to meet you.
just joined right now. I went to a place for one service on unavoidable, so I have to be there. So I just want to, if you can just drop the the election and every other thing.
Yeah, you should have
Because
it.
I wasn't actually involved.
Sorry, you have it. Sorry for the loss. Right, you have it.
Good evening, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
Silas.
sir.
Sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
All right. My question is, I was thrown out from the call, but I just joined. Is that this thing, income tax provision and educational tax? I know that is mostly disallowed, but I want to know the ideology behind it, because basically I don't know what I'm saying is basically it's an expense now, like we pay for tax, but I want to really know why.
No, so provision, what you are looking for is the tax. That's what we are providing for. So why are you providing for what we are trying to find out?
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Do you get my
Hello, good
point? Do you get?
Hello, sir.
It's Mikey on the line. So
Yeah, Michael.
about the marking scheme of this exam, you made mention of when if you miss a particular figure, of course, obviously, it's going to affect other balances. But my question is it that they are marking the correct figure or just the step? For example, I missed depreciation, but my computation format is okay. Or rather, I added the figure. Rather, maybe capital allowance was 105. I put 104, or we know it's going to affect other figures, but they cannot just mark everything wrong because that one was, because everybody can. If you want to look, not up to 100% will actually get exactly expense.
So
I don't know if you can throw more light on that.
Yeah, so they've told you there are steps, right? But how do you confirm the correctness of your steps when your figures are wrong? I mean, I've been involved in all these things. I've been involved in all these things before, and I can tell you for a fact that if your figures are wrong, your balances are wrong, then you've missed it that way. It's that simple. I understand, right? But I understand the sentiment around it. It's painful, but it is what it is, my brother.
Hello, sir.
I mean, I've been involved firsthand from the institute, and I can tell you that.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. This is Akafa Joseph. Hello, sir.
Okay.
I want to ask, when you are confronting that asset, you says 2 years. I don't know that 2 years call on that asset, whether it should be furnitures and fittings. Is it mentioned in the question? Then I remain that 3 years. You now compute your initial allowance. Is it written in the question already, if I may ask? That's my question.
Yes, it's in the question. It's in the question. Just check through the
That
question.
the asset have used 2 years. Is it in the question?
Yes, now it's there. Yes,
It's in the question, Abi?
Chief. You're welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Good evening,
Peter.
sir. Yes, sir. Please, I don't know if it can be convenient for you to help us do the the relationship between the mining, petroleum, and then pioneer. So their relationship and then their differences.
There's no difference, really. Every mining is a pioneer business. Do you get?
Okay.
So so there's no really much difference. The only difference is just the nature of business.
Okay. What are the
Do you understand?
computation of their capital allowances?
It's still the same thing.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Abisemi.
I'm sorry, yes. Please, I would like you to go to the solution. I didn't know how you come about the 7.5 on the annual allowance for furniture and fittings. Please.
One thing I know is I didn't manufacture it to get to find it together. But that was on a lighter note, actually. Wait, hope I've not angrily deleted or no. Sorry, I just okay. I'm supposed to be jumping another session now. I hope you guys. There was even one person that sent me a message and I was laughing. Please save my soul. I was like, God, I'm not God, though. I was like, okay, so what have you got 2 years remaining? Yeah. So there's it, yeah.
Hello, sir.
So
Please,
they said it has utilized 2 years, right?
Yes,
They said the asset has utilized 2 years.
okay.
And you know, ideally, furniture and fitting is supposed to use 5 years, right?
Yes.
So 2 minus 5 is 3. 2,500
Okay.
divided by 3 is the 7.5.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Sir, please, I would like to ask a question. Are we done?
No, we're not to. I have 2-3 more people that want to ask their questions. So let me hold on. Yes, we are done. I'm done for today.
Okay, so I wanted to ask. So based on that, someone asked a question the other time about loss relief and accessible profit. So I wanted to find out, is our adjusted profit accessible profit, or if we have loss relief and we remove loss relief, then become accessible profit? Can you talk on that?
Say that again.
Okay, so I've heard somewhere where they call, after you remove your loss relief, they call it accessible profit. So I want to find out from you, that is it adjusted profit in all sense of this thing, is the accessible profit, or if we have loss relief and we relieve the loss, that's when it becomes an accessible profit.
No. So in CIT context, all your adjusted profit is accessible profit. But in PIA context, hydrocarbon tax is when you deduct loss relief that it becomes accessible profit.
Thank you
Does that
for that.
clarify?
Yes, for that. Thank you.
Please come again.
So
I
I
didn't
said
get.
in CIT, your adjusted profit is same as accessible profit. But when you're computing hydrocarbon tax, your adjusted profit, you deduct loss relief, then you get your accessible profit. All right. Silas, Sunday.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Manuel.
Sorry, sir. Are you saying that even after deducting the loss relief, it's still called adjusted profit?
Is no. Your adjusted profit is the same thing as accessible profit. That's what I'm saying.
You know, based on what the other lady asked, she was saying that after deducting the loss relief, what can we call it again?
It doesn't have a name.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sorry, sir. Please let me. There are some in this CIT, when we are computing for tax liabilities. After getting there will be loss to relieve. After deducting the loss, when we are giving accessible tax to pay. After relieving the loss, I think those the profit going to charge for CIT, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's where I think that's where the mistake is coming from. Profit.
I don't understand where the mistake is coming from. I do. To be honest, your network is not that great. But one thing I know for sure is adjusted profit is the same thing as accessible profit in CIT, but in hydrocarbon tax, when you just loss relief, you get accessible profit. That's all. If that's the discussion, no. But honestly, your network is not too good. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining tonight's session. I need to jump on a call now.
Please.
Thank you very much, sir. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, sir. Good
Thank
night.
you so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Sir,
Olukule.
please.
Thank you, Mr. Olukule.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
sir.
Sir,
Thank
please.
you very much.
Please, when
Thank
next
you,
is
sir.
the class? When next are we having class, please?
Thursday.
Sir, please. Oh, I have a very, 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 very important question.